Welcome back to CIA Declassified. Today, we peel back the skin. In the late 1950s and throughout the 1960s, the CIA's Office of Research and Development faced a problem. How do you follow an agent when the terrain is hostile and the radios are too big to hide? Their answer was a precursor to the modern world, a project that turned the human body into a transmitter. This was Subproject 142. The agency didn't just want to know where you were, they wanted to know how you felt while you were there. Subproject 142 was a specialized branch of MKUltra focused on Bio-Telemetry, the remote monitoring of physiological data. A quote from a declassified CIA internal review dated 1962. The objective is the development of miniature sensors capable of being implanted or injected to relay cardiovascular and emotional data without the subject's awareness, end quote. The CIA collaborated with the University of California to develop biotransmitters no larger than a grain of rice. Researchers tested these devices on laboratory animals, primarily cats and dogs, to see if the body's internal heat could power the signal. Subproject 142 explored electronic dissociation, attempting to use implanted electrodes to trigger specific behavioral responses via remote command. The agency invested heavily in thin film technology, creating antennas that could be tattooed onto the skin using conductive ink. A 1968 report suggests the CIA investigated using human power sources such as the kinetic energy of a beating heart to sustain a tracking beacon. A quote from Dr. Gottlieb, MKUltra chief: "We are seeking a means of identifying and following individuals across international borders without conventional surveillance." End quote. The project utilized subdermal surgical techniques to hide tracking chips behind the ear or in the fatty tissue of the shoulder. Agency scientists experimented with chemical beacons, substances that would cause an agent to emit a specific infrared signature visible only to agency planes. Subproject 142 researchers held secret symposiums on the cyborg soldier, discussing the integration of man and machine. The CIA's Office of Communications developed specialized receivers hidden in everyday objects like briefcases to catch the faint subdermal pings. By the early 1970s, the project shifted toward passive biotags, which required no internal battery and would only wake up when scanned by a specific radio frequency. A quote from a declassified progress report: "The miniaturization of the silicon substrate has reached the point where injection via standard gauge needle is feasible." End quote. Subproject 142 also investigated the teeth transmitter, hiding a microphone and radio inside a false molar. The project explored bioacoustic signatures, trying to identify targets by the unique way their heart and lungs vibrated against the skin. Records show that the CIA consulted with NASA on how to monitor human vitals from extreme distances. The agency developed a pressure sensor for the skin that would alert handlers if an agent was being physically restrained. One branch of the project attempted to create liquid antennas which could be swallowed and would remain active in the digestive tract for 48 hours. A quote from an internal research note: "The human body is the ultimate clandestine platform." End quote. Subproject 142 was officially terminated in 1973, but its patents were transferred to private defense contractors. The project tested electrodermal communication using tiny pulses against the skin to send Morse code to an agent in the field. Implant sites were often chosen to coincide with natural scars or birthmarks to avoid detection during physical searches. The CIA studied parasitic powering, where a device would draw electricity from the body's own glucose levels. A quote from a declassified project summary: "Success in biotelemetry ensures that no asset is ever lost." End quote. Dr. Ralph Schwitzgebel, it's Schwitzgebel. I think it's Schwitzgebel, was a key consultant who pioneered the use of electronic rehabilitation belts for tracking the movements of parolees. A quote from a 1964 CIA working group: "The ability to distinguish between a subject at rest and a subject in a state of panic is via subcutaneous sensor is our priority." End quote. Subproject 142 researchers worked on signal masking, trying to make the electronic pulse sound like a natural nerve firing to avoid detection by enemy scanners. A declassified document from 1967 mentions a successful test where a transmitter was hidden inside a surgically repaired bone. The CIA investigated the use of biological memory, attempting to see if an implanted chip could stimulate the brain to remember forgotten details of a meeting. If you look at the 1969 technical manual for Subproject 142, there is a missing appendix labeled optic interface. The redactions in the final reports are absolute walls of black ink. A theory that haunts the halls of conspiracy forums is that the CIA wasn't just tracking vitals. Speculation suggests these black bars hide the internal eye, a project where they developed a microscopic fiber optic thread that could be woven into the optic nerve of an agent, and the black bars hide the visual feed logs. A rumor from a retired agency surgeon claims the black bars hide the soul stealer. Speculation is that the CIA developed a neural snapshot device that could record the last 30 seconds of an agent's memory upon death, and the redactions cover the post-mortem retrieval protocols. Some believe the redactions hide the remote puppet. The theory is that the agency used biotelemetry to send electrical shocks directly to the motor cortex, allowing a handler to drive an agent's body like a vehicle, and the black bars hide the motor override frequencies. Could the black bars hide the hive mind? One wild theory suggests the CIA linked 10 pedigree agents together via subdermal implants to create a collective intelligence, and the redactions cover the shared consciousness data. Some believe the redactions hide the ghost signal. The theory is that the agency successfully uploaded an agent's entire personality into a biochip, and the black bars hide the digital resurrection experiments. There is a theory that the black bars hide the living map. Speculation suggests the CIA used radioactive isotopes injected into the blood to make agents glow on secret satellite scanners, and the redactions cover the isotope half-life charts. Some speculate the redactions hide the biological kill switch. The theory is that every agent was injected with a microscopic poison capsule that could be ruptured by a remote radio signal, and the black bars hide the termination codes. Whispers claim the black bars hide the truth serum reservoir. The theory is that the CIA implanted a device that would leak LSD into the bloodstream if it detected the agent was being interrogated, and the black bars hide the chemical release timings. Some speculate the redactions hide the human antenna. The theory is that the agency modified the bones of an agent's middle ear to pick up satellite transmissions directly, and the black bars hide the cranial reconstruction blueprints. Finally, some speculate the black bars hide the global trace. The theory is that the CIA released biotelemetry dust into the atmosphere to track entire populations, with the black bars hiding the aerosol distribution maps. A terrifying rumor suggests the redactions hide the DNA beacon. Speculation suggests the CIA found a way to make the human body emit a radio frequency based on its unique genetic code, and the black bars hide the genomic frequency list. Could the black bars cover the mere implant? Conspiracy theorists claim the agency developed a chip that could broadcast an agent's sensory experiences, smell, taste, and touch to a handler thousands of miles away, and the black bars hide the sensory sync logs. Some believe the black bars hide the neural erasure. The theory is that Subproject 142 developed a subdermal device that could wipe a target's memory using a targeted EMP, and the black bars hide the amnesia trigger protocols. Whispers claim the redactions hide the subdermal screen. The theory suggests the CIA developed a paper-thin display that could be implanted under the skin of the forearm to show mission briefings, and the black bars hide the interface design. Finally, a wild theory suggests the black bars hide the eternal asset. Speculation is that the CIA used biotelemetry to store an agent's consciousness in a satellite array, allowing them to be downloaded into a new body if they were killed in action. Prepare for the theory of the ghost heartbeat. Rumors suggest the CIA successfully tested a biotransmitter that would continue to pulse even after the agent's biological death, acting as a permanent frequency marker, and the black bars hide the ethereal relay schedule. Could the black bars hide Project Second Skin? A fringe theory posits that the agency developed a liquid polymer that could be sprayed onto a subject to form a secondary nervous system for remote control, and the black bars hide the synthetic synapse maps. Whispers suggest the redactions hide the animal conduit. The theory suggests the CIA used subdermal links to allow a human agent to see through the eyes of a bird or dog, with the black bars hiding the cross-species sync protocols. Lastly, some believe the black bars hide the false anatomy. The theory is that the CIA surgically created hollow cavities in an agent's body specifically to house massive data servers, turning humans into living hard drives. Was it a success? Was Subproject 142 a success? Technologically, it was a triumph of engineering. The agency successfully created the world's first wearable and injectable tracking devices. However, operationally, it was a nightmare. The human body often rejected the implants, causing infections and biological noise that made the data unreadable. The signal in the skin paved the way for the world we live in today, however, as far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, such as micro-miniaturization. The project forced the development of smaller circuits that eventually led to the microchips in our phones. Remote health monitoring, early agency research into tracking heart rates is the direct ancestor of the modern smartwatch. EFT shielding. The CIA developed ways to protect electronics from the corrosive environment of the human body. Encrypted low power transmissions. The science of sending bursts of data that are nearly impossible to detect against background radiation. Subproject 142 reminds us that for the CIA, the boundary between the person and the equipment is non-existent. We are all just signals waiting to be acquired. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next time we examine the Mount Weather logs. When the world ends, the agency has a plan. We'll uncover the CIA's continuity of government blueprints for a post-nuclear America. We'll look at the secret facilities carved into the bedrock and the list of who gets a seat at the table when the rest of us are ash. Get ready for the theory of the Lazarus Protocol. Speculation suggests that Mount Weather isn't just a bunker, but a cryogenic vault where the CIA has stored the DNA of every president and agency director, ready to regrow the United States from scratch in a world without a sun. Some believe the logs hide a dark truth, the arc selective. The theory is that the CIA has already chosen which pedigree families from Project Monarch will be the only ones allowed into the mountain, turning Mount Weather into the birth of a new genetically pure American ruling class. Join us for the Shadow of Republic. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archive.